More than 1 million people are treated for concussions every year.
But it can be tough to diagnose the head injuries, and athletes often end up back on the field without fully recovering.
Doreen Gensler joins us now with a potential new tool for concussions in tonight's News for Your Health. Doreen?
Hi, Jim. Pat, brain injuries can be very tricky. When you have one, you can look and act perfectly fine. In fact, there really isn't a perfect way to diagnose them, and that often leads to more injuries and lasting effects. But now doctors are hoping a device sort of like a video game can give a quick diagnosis that will lead to a faster recovery.
I was playing in a game and I was hit on top of the helmet with a stick.
49-year-old Jane Polson was playing ice hockey when a blow to the head caused a concussion. Trouble is, she had no idea she was injured.
And I kept playing, and not until the next morning, where I had just a tremendous headache, did I know something was wrong.
Doctors say that's a common scenario because there's no good method that can quickly detect concussions, and athletes who continue to play can put themselves at risk for more serious, even fatal injuries.
Even with the newest, most experimental MRI sequences, a lot of times people who clearly from a clinical point of view have a concussion, their MRI is perfectly normal.
Now doctors hope a new non-invasive screening tool can give them better and quicker answers about concussions. National Rehabilitation Hospital neurologist Dr. Alexander Dromerick is leading the clinical trial for the new test.
The test is actually looking directly at brain function. An MRI scan looks at brain anatomy, which is good, but that doesn't tell you how well the brain is working.
The screening works by using this joystick-like device called a dynamometer, which measures the strength of a person's grip. Patients taking the test complete a series of tasks. Some may have the person squeezing the joystick for short periods of time. Others have them holding it for a while.
It actually looks very simple, but if you've actually done the test, it's kind of hard to sustain it for 4 minutes. We don't want to see how strong they are. What we want to see is, can they keep their grip constant at just a little bit of force? And that takes a lot of control.
Dromerick says if the patient gets frustrated easily, is bored or distracted, then that's a sign of a brain injury. Other signs can include inability to understand the task or inconsistent performance.
The number one thing is this idea that a person with a normal brain or an uninjured brain has the ability to do things at a certain level of consistency.
The idea is that this test can be mobile so that it can be given on the playing field for athletes or even on the battlefield for soldiers.
I took the test last week, and I don't think I've got complete results back, but she said based on the test, I should have a full recovery.
That's a big relief for Jane Polson. She's a retired military attorney who has suffered 2 concussions playing her beloved sport of ice hockey.
I've learned you don't mess with your head. They're different from a broken leg where you can rehab back from it, but if something happens with your head, with your brain, you don't get that back.
Boy, she's right about that. This test is still in the clinical trial phase, so we don't know yet just how well it's going to work, and they're still recruiting patients to gather more research for that study going on at the National Rehabilitation Hospital. But any progress that we can make toward learning how to better diagnose brain injuries will be a really good thing.
Absolutely.
Fascinating stuff. All right. Thanks, Doreen.
Thanks, Doreen.